Hi, this is Koki from Wolves Unite. We are a music production company based in Fukuoka, Japan. We do a lot of commercial works, occasionally films and games, but mostly anything with visuals. Today, we are in our studio checking out speakers from Genelec. The model is 8330A. These are what they call smart active monitors, meaning by using the dedicated software, you can optimize these speakers fit to your listening environment. And we get an opportunity to try these out for a week by using Genelec Japan's hashtag creative with Genelec program. So I actually own a pair of Genelec 8030C, which are non-smart active versions at my home setup and for my mobile setup. So I am somewhat familiar with their sound and very curious what these newer models can do. Okay, so this is our main control room where I get to spend most of my day. My current main speakers are Dynaudio BM15 active, hooked with Genelec 7060B sub. I also have a pair of Avanton Mix Cube, also active, as my second monitors, and I'm putting them aside for the Genelecs today. Okay, so in Monday we received the kit. First of all, I'd really like to have these carry case for my 8030s, but apparently they're not for sale. I really like their new raw finish models they're putting out. Somehow it feels very Finnish. I think they look really cool and apparently environment friendly too. So yeah, go Genelec. This time we are not hooking up with sub since my 7060s are not SAM compatible. But they do have a newer model 7360 which is a smart active version of mine. I'm very curious for that one as well. Because subwoofer calibration is a whole other thing and never sure if I'm doing them right. Anyway, let's start calibrating these speakers. By the way, I have been using another calibration software from SonarWorks quite a while. But the difference in GLM system are the fact that speaker itself can store the calibration profiles, which means you don't really have to software always open, or even when it's open when software is not processing the room correction part. That way you can prevent the software monitoring latency. You do get a little bit of latency in SonarWorks, which is not really a problem, at least for me. But that's one less things to worry about this time for sure. Okay, so this is my room sound like in SonarWorks, and this is after the correction. So my signal chain here, computer to Apogee ensemble directly into speakers by XLR cable. You do have options for digital ins, but I'm sticking with what I already know this time. So these speakers will communicate each other via Ethernet cable, sounding very smart already. And this interface, which you connect your calibration mic into. This is what the calibration mic looks like. You set up the height, same as your ear levels, by using the stand which is included in the kit. Okay, this is the GLM software. Again, the GUI looks very stylish, yet easy to understand what's going on. Once you click the speaker icon, from one of your speaker you will hear the soft white noise. You just drag these into each positions here. And we will stick with the global setting for this room, 4-band bass and analog input. I really don't know why I chose the multi-point for this one. I didn't really move the listening point. And symmetrical EQ here. And here we go. I think that's it. The calibration process is much quicker in GLM system. In SonarWorks, it takes about 20 minutes, which is understandable since it has to measure the room and speaker at the same time. Where GLM, they already know what their speakers sound like. My impression in Genelec, especially the 80 series, they tend to push the sounds forward more compared to the other speakers. In other words, you get that in your face sound. They could be sometimes pitch sound almost exaggerating, which is not really a bad thing when it comes to mixing, in my opinion. For me, having a good quality monitor speakers is like having a good consultant by your side. Sometimes I need somebody to tell me what's going on in the mix, and Genelecs are definitely loud pointing out these details. I think that's the one of the reasons that composers like myself or track makers tend to gravitate towards Genelec speakers. But of course, they are all subjective. Okay, so we're gonna save this profile and name it Studio. And I think we're done. So here I am trying to level match by year comparing to my BM15s. My ensemble is connected to the Apogee remote, so I don't need individually volume control between speakers once I set up the default volume in the GLM. I'm just using my ear for this. Looks like Genelec is a little bit louder than a Dyno Audio. Here you can see the room profile, which is pretty close to the SonarWorks, minus the super low frequency because of the sub, and the correction curves. I later noticed I'm actually just looking at my right speakers. You have to click for the left speakers for what's going on the left, but since we are working on a symmetrical profile, it should be okay. Let's hear how they sound like in studio.
Some people cry. wishing and wondering. Something's been living inside of my bones. Something's been chasing me down. Shadows and alleys and bad company. I've gotta figure this out. Some people dream, some people leave. Some people think that it's all make believe. Some people cry all through the night, wishing and wondering, wondering.
Okay, so that was on Monday. I happen to have a commercial project starting Tuesday and submitting initial demos on Thursday. So really perfect timing to work with them in my work situation. Okay, so demos are out our door. We will be moving our setup location for tomorrow. So here are the speakers next to my 15-inch MacBook Pro for those who's curious about the size and colors. So we'll be moving to our next room office to simulate more of mobile setup situations. So here we are in the other room. It's our sort of corner office within our lounge area slash the storage room. There are no acoustic treatment in this area. So we're kind of like simulating the mobile setup situation here. So let's try to calibrate this kind of situation. So whenever you reset your speaker profile, it makes this kind of robotic sound. I thought that was really cute. I appreciate these kind of things. Okay, here we go again back in the software. Let's try something different this time. Let's do individual setups, meaning each speakers will optimize for their own positions, since the room sound will be much more unbalanced in here. So keep this section as a single point and choose the individual EQ. While setting up in this untreated room, I just realized how loud these sweep sounds were. So be careful if someone is sleeping next room or something. So let's save this profile and name it office. And we're all set. So as you can see, this room has much more problem than the last one. Especially it's building up the unwanted low frequencies. Okay, now I'm really glad I set up the individual EQs because I don't know what's going on the right side of my room here. Maybe it's the bookshelf or the drywalls on one side, who knows. But these are the things I wouldn't be able to pick up by my ears.
Nobody knows, so take it day by day. I only hope that I don't get in the way as I wait inside. I hope I like who I find. It's only love, so give it away. Taking time to learn the secrets of a life I haven't lived. And through all the inhibition, when can I think? Where can she grieve? Where can we run?
So, obviously, GLM is not the solution for every single problem. You should still treat your room the best you can. At least try to reduce the flatter echoes. Because if the sound is just bouncing around in your room, there's nothing even these things can do about it. But when it comes to the stereo imaging and the bass management, these things can improve your room sound so much better. When you are in a commercial studio space with high quality monitor speakers, especially the big ones, you don't really feel the sound coming out of the speakers. It's kind of hard to describe it, but those large speakers tend to blend in the room better, and they fill up the space with the sound rather than just pushing it to one direction. And that creates sort of depth in your sound and makes speaker kind of disappear in the room, if that makes sense. And that's what you really want, because when you are in your creating process, you kind of want to forget those speakers are even there. So it's just amazing technology that speakers on this size can create that kind of effects no matter where you are. And that concludes my humble opinion about the GLM kit. We'd like to thank Genelec Japan for a great experience, and thank you all for watching. Take care and stay safe.